his name. I believe it's Jermayne Lole. It's spelled Lole, but I believe it's Lole. If I mispronounce it, I apologize. Texas gets their third defensive tackle transfer portal commit. This one is especially sweet because they flip him from Oklahoma. He was committed to the Sooners, and Longhorns lost a recent transfer portal recruitment to the Sooners when Dominique Williams, the freshman All-American from TCU, committed to the Sooners. And Jermayne Lole had also one of the best quotes after committing to Texas, or decommitting from Oklahoma and committing to Texas. I was on the wrong side of the Red River rivalry. Love that. Young man already got some swag. He originally played, I should say, at Arizona State coming out of high school, and then played at Louisville, transferred to Louisville, and now is transferring to University of Texas. He's dealt with some injuries, and that's why there's a gap in his resume. And the truth is, early on in his career, by his true sophomore year, this guy is on his way easily to being an NFL player that's going to be drafted in the middle round somewhere. I mean, he had his sophomore year, he had 71 tackles, 6.5 sacks at D tackle in 2019. And I found this information about him. Just like I said, in 2020, he dealt with an injury. He only played 4 or 5 games in 2020. Also dealt with an injury in 2021 and dealt with an injury in 2022. And then in 2023, he was as healthy as he's been since 2019. So you got a gap in his resume because he had a tricep injury, a meniscus injury, an elbow injury. Okay, so that's a lot, and I understand that's a risk for the Longhorns. But if you can get him healthy, in 2019 when he was healthy, and he played multiple shades, he played 3 technique. They had him on the edge a little bit as well. But they just kind of moved him around, and it paid dividends. In 2019, he was one of the 10 highest graded Power 5 defensive linemen against the run, according to Pro Football Focus, when he was playing defensive tackle. Yeah. They moved him around, but when he was playing D tackle. That was in 2019. In 2020, even though he played like 5 games, it remained the case. He was graded out even better against the run by Pro Football Focus in that very small sample size, and was better as a pass rusher. Right. They said Lole was the 3rd highest graded Power 5 defensive lineman when playing 3 technique in 2020, even though he only played 4 games. And he had 18 pressures, 17 defensive stops in those 4 games that he played in. So if you go look at it, if he's healthy, he's an impact player. And in 2023, he had his best season since 2019, or at least his healthiest season since 2019. He can play multiple shades. Doesn't play a lot of A gap or 0 technique, but he could, I guess, if you needed him to. But he's more of a B gap, 3 technique guy. But he has the potential upside to be an every down D tackle. The problem right now with the D tackle room is that you either have guys who are really good high level pass rushers or guys who are really good high level run defenders. And what you want are your T Sweats and your Byron Murphy, who are both 3 down players. But if you don't get that, you got to moneyball it. And situationally, or at least matchup wise, week to week, knowing the skill sets of these guys and knowing when they need to play and how you need to rotate them, he potentially could be an every down guy if he's healthy. He's got that kind of skill set.
Yeah, no, that'll be cool. That'll be good to get for Texas to bring in somebody that's, it's a lot of potential. It feels a little bit like they got Dominic Williams in OU, and that was the writing on the wall for him. That maybe
might have been
that what, if they're going to go out and if the rumors are true and they're spending all this money on this guy and they want to bring him in, then you know what, I'll go where they want me.
Texas definitely wants him. So Sark, after he made that Suge Knight-like plea to come to Texas if you're a D tackle after the spring game, paid off because you got 2 of them. And by the way, another Johnny Nansen connection here. There's another Johnny Nansen connection. Johnny Nansen, out of high school, shout out to my friends over at On Texas Football, on TexasFootball.com, Jerry Hamilton, Bobby Burton, and the crew. Johnny Nansen recruited him out of high school when he was at UCLA and when he was at USC. So he knows the family and knows the high school coaches. So apparently, and obviously knows the skill set. He scouted the young man and evaluated him. So maybe, they had already pretty much vetted him as a player because of the Johnny Nansen connection. But that makes 3. Now, your 3 D tackles you brought in, 2 of them, Bill Norton and Tia Savea, played for Johnny Nansen at Arizona. And then now this young man was recruited by Johnny Nansen. So Johnny Nansen, you haven't even gotten to the season yet, and that acquisition is already paying dividends for you. Like I said, Jermayne Lole, about 100, and he's mostly a B gap player. Plays in the B gap on the 3 technique. Bill Norton and Tia Surveyor are the guys who actually have some experience playing in the A gap, playing that 0 technique or playing that 1 technique. So I do think these guys will have different roles with the team at that D tackle position. But I think ultimately Sark just wanted bodies to give himself a lot of options just in case things didn't work out. So you got your young guys, you got Alfred Collins, you got Vernon Broughton as they're not young guys, they're kind of your guys you brought up through the system. You got the guys you brought in, Bill Norton, Tia Surveyor, Jermayne Lole, the guys you brought in as contingency plans at D tackle. And then you have the guys you're working in like Sadir Mitchell, Aaron Bryant, Jerray Bledsoe, and you're hoping 1 or 2, maybe Alex January, you can throw him in there, 1 or 2 of those guys, they start to separate. And then you'll have your rotation. They want to rotate 6. I mean, remember 2 years ago, the 6 they were rotating was Keandre Coburn, Moro Ojimo, Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, and Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. That, like 2 years ago, that arguably was one of the best, if not the best, D tackle rotation in the country. And they want to get back to something like that. Now, losing four NFL drafted defensive tackles in the last 2 years, it's tough to replace that. And the truth is, Texas needs a short-term plan and a long-term plan at D tackle because they're going to lose like 4 or 5 guys this year. I mean, Alfred Collins is going to be gone. Vernon Broughton is going to be gone. You're going to lose Tia Surveyor. You're going to lose Bill Norton. You're going to lose Jermayne Lole. I mean, you're about to lose all these guys again. You need a short-term plan, long-term, because Jermayne Lole is a 6th-year senior. Bill Norton, 6th-year senior. Alfred Collins, 5th-year senior. So is Vernon Broughton. Tia Surveyor is just a senior, and then you got the young guys. So you're going to lose 4 guys who step up like an Aaron Bryant, like a Sadir Mitchell, like a Jerray Bledsoe, Alex January. If those guys don't step up, you're going to be doing the same thing next year. So you need a long-term strategy and a short-term strategy. It goes to what I've been saying about D tackle, period. That is a premium position at the NFL level. And what you brought up yesterday, Patrick, that, hey, it seems like it's a premium position now at the college level too. Yeah. Period. It's just a premium position overall. And that's the way you got to approach it if you're Sark.
There's just not enough. If there's not enough. That's supply and demand. Basic economics.
Yeah. And right now, I think that's what Texas is trying to, monopolize and get as many of them as they can via the transfer portal. But make no mistake about it, Texas has to address this. It's not going to be just a Texas issue. This is going to be an issue everywhere.
Yeah.
Across all football. That's what makes it the rarity of it makes it valuable.
I mean, that's what we saw with. I remember we saw with Alabama 2 years ago. When we were talking about when Texas played in the first time, we were talking about Will Anderson not being as effective that entire season. And part of that was their interior D-line was the worst interior D-line Alabama had in probably 10 years. And that was kind of the start of it where you saw where they were becoming more and more of a premium position. It was more and more teams where you couldn't stockpile them anymore because they realized if I'm a top tier tight end, or top tier D lineman, interior D lineman, I can go play. I can go play somewhere else right now as a freshman. I don't need to sit behind and wait till my senior year to play. No. I can go somewhere and play right now because people want me. Like the recruitment is stepped up from, hey, you come here and you'll be a good piece of it too. You're going to be a focal point of our defense. We need you.
Well, we played the audio yesterday of Brian Kelly being asked by a reporter, "Hey, how's the D line recruitment going? D tackle recruitment going?" He's like, "Frankly, not well." And what did he get into on his rant? He was like, basically, players want to be bought.
Yeah.
And he's like, and we're not into buying players. And I think that was related directly to, man, some of these D tackles, they're asking for a whole lot more money than we're ready to pay. And you better be ready to pay because I think these D tackles they're wise now to their value overall, as Patrick brought up. All right, we come back.